myself again. But it's the only way you're ever gonna learn. You look back and it's all in the past. I'm dwelling on the thoughts I cannot say to you. If I don't say the words, then maybe it's not true. And it feels alright.
Good evening, welcome to NUFC Matters with me, Steve Wraith. I've had a few technical difficulties. I'm actually at the office because I'm getting ready to go to the match. So what I could do with is essentially letting us know if you can hear us, potentially. Can anybody hear me? Hello. If you can, just say yes in the chat. I've got no connection to YouTube either, so usually I would rely on YouTube to be able to tell me that you are hearing me loud and clear. If you are, happy days. Thank you. Yes, that's great stuff. Excellent. Right, while I get myself sorted and you go and get a cup of tea, I'm going to put the ads on so I can get a couple of things sorted out, which I usually have at home, but I don't have in the office. So I'm going to play the ads and then I'll be back. A big thanks to our sponsors, Skips and Bins, telephone 0800 25 45 25 3, email inquiries at skipsandbins.com, website skipsandbins.com, easy contract free and pay as you go waste collection. Thanks to Darren Baldwin Funerals, based on Old Durham Road in Gateshead. Their phone number is 0191 478 2730. You can email Darren at darrenbaldwinfunerals.co.uk or go to the website darrenbaldwinfunerals.co.uk. Thanks to Garden of Healing Dispensary, CBD, hemp and cannabinoid specialists based on Nunn Street. The GOHD.com is their website. And thanks again to 3 Property Investments, who specialise in sourcing investment properties for their clients who are looking to invest in the North East. They offer a full in-house service from sourcing the deals to managing the properties for you. They've done over 100 plus deals in the past 12 months for clients all over the UK. Give them a follow on Instagram, matty.patter_northeast property and phil.reed_northeast property, or email phil@3property.co.uk if you're interested in getting a good property deal. Thanks to the lads at Mr. Vicky's Handmade in Cumbria. These are hot sauces and you can find them at mrvickys.co.uk or place an order by ringing 01768 210 102. Thanks also to the lads at Blowhole Brewery, a fine amount of ales available from their website, www.blowholebrewery.co.uk. Thanks to Media Arts for all the help with the video technology. Thanks to qtechshop.co.uk, the makers of pool tables and snooker tables in Wallsend, Newcastle, and the guys who run our website, NUFCmatters.com. If you want to subscribe, hit the badge in the corner and you can subscribe for free. Still do 7 shows a week. Hit the thumb up to like the video and click share to share to your social media. We're also available as a podcast on iTunes, Spotify and the rest. And if you want to become a member, click join underneath this video, or you can put your smartphone over the QR code. It will take you to the membership section of the website. If you choose to go that way, then you will get a pen, a cup, a scarf and a membership card and entry into the monthly draw for a one-off payment of £25. We also give you something for free. If you want a car window sticker, email john@nufcmatters.com and he will send you one if you are a subscriber. We also help the food bank on here. NUFC fans, foodbank.co.uk is the matchday bucket. If you go there, you can make a virtual donation at any time of the year. And don't forget, Peter Beardsley Soccer School, October half term, Monday the 24th to Friday the 28th of October. You can book now, peterbeardsley.soccerschool.com. Peter's also running Monday night training on the 26th of October. Again, the same website. And if you want to meet Peter Beardsley, well, you've got 3 chances. Newcastle Legends game, Friday, October the 14th. The Peter Beardsley talk-in is taking place after the game. Tickets for this are available from nufcmatters.com. Adult admission is £5, junior admission is £2. The talk-in is adults only, and that is a tenner. And the events are all taking place at the Fox Hunters Pavilion in North Shields. We've got Peter Beardsley available, tickets available for the St Dom's Catholic Club show. You need to go straight to their website and you just buy your tickets there. And for this one at the Irish Centre, tickets are available now on NUFCmatters.com. Don't forget, Supermax at the Dog and Parrot, every pre-match and every post-match, every home game. And John Gibson and John Anderson are at Pumphrey's pre-match only. If you did like our true crime stuff, it has all migrated to the True Crime channel. So get yourself across there on YouTube and subscribe today.
Okay, thanks very much for acknowledging that you can hear us. Great stuff. We are back, and just a little pre-match show, a little bit of pre-match patter. No guest today. As I say, I've been in town and doing a bit graft before and do the dog and parrot with Malcolm tonight. And yeah, the eagle-eyed viewers will have realised that the game against the Legends game, of course, was Friday gone. I'll have to record some new adverts. Okay, Newcastle United, home to Everton. Newcastle, of course, hoping to extend their seasonal unbeaten home record to 6 Premier League games when the Toffees come to town under the managership of Frank Lampard. This is a 7:30 kickoff, so if you're in the house now thinking, well, I've got a bit more time, it'll not kick off till 8 o'clock, please remember, this is on Amazon Prime Video and it's kicking off at 7:30. And yes, TV coverage, unlike those who didn't go to Manchester United, such as myself, and didn't have any TV coverage. At least you've got something that you can sit and watch. And don't forget, if you don't have a subscription, you can get a 30-day trial on Amazon. You just need to go to NUFC.com. And right at the top of the website, you can click their online here button and go and subscribe. But when you subscribe for 30 days, please remember you have to cancel the subscription, or like me, you'll get stung for £7.99 for the following month. So make sure that you cancel it after your 30 days. Set a reminder on your phone or something. Okay, Newcastle injury side of things. We did the Eddie Howe press conference review yesterday, so if you listen to that, you'll be fully up to date. Those who didn't, and those who haven't read up on this, Carl Darlow and Matt Ritchie are still out, although Carl Darlow is back training on grass, and there is improvement there. Not the greatest of worries for us. We do have Nick Pope in the middle of our goal, and we do have Karius on the bench as well. If things came to the desperate stages, of course, then Carl Darlow would, I guess, be called up. But at the moment, yeah, he's recovering, and he's recovering well, and he's back up training on grass now. Matt Ritchie is still out. ASM and Alexander Isak, well, that was two bits of bad news at the press conference. Isak will be out now until after the World Cup, so we won't see him until at least Boxing Day. It could be a late Christmas present. And as for ASM, chances are we might see him before the World Cup, but he certainly won't be available tonight and won't be available for the game against Spurs at the weekend. One would imagine that this return for ASM may be the cup game against Crystal Palace. If you were Eddie Howe, you'd probably be looking at that and thinking, well, we're okay in the league. We can get by now as long as we don't get injured to Bruno and Callum Wilson. Let's focus on getting ASM back for that cup game. Hopefully he will be fit. And John Joe Shelby, of course, on the bench at the weekend. The chatter about him in the press conference was interesting because he said only in an emergency will he be used. So, Eddie Howe's got this mantra of bringing people back, when they're good and ready. And I like that. He's not doing what the previous incumbent at the manager's dugout did, Steve Bruce, and rushing people back. We saw that with Sean Longstaff. Cruciate ligament, out for a while, rushes him straight back in. And it did affect the kid. And he's took a long time to recover from that. So, yeah, John Joe on the bench potentially tonight and ready. But, yeah, bad news on Isak and ASM. And our attacking frailties, they go on into these games. It's disappointing. It really is. Okay, as for Everton, Anthony Gordon, a player we were linked with in the summer, is available now after serving his suspension. And Mason Holgate also is returning to Everton's squad. He's recovered from a knee injury. Ben Godfrey and Yerry Mina remain out, while Dominic Calvert-Lewin, another player we were linked with in the summer, he's likely to continue as a substitute as he regains fitness after overcoming an injury, which I believe was a knee problem. Everton were beaten at Spurs at the weekend 2-0, which is their second defeat in as many games. And on the road this season so far, Everton have won at Southampton, they've drawn at Brentford, and Leeds, and lost at Aston Villa and Spurs. Who's the man in the middle tonight? Well, it's Tony Harrington. And it's a trip up the A19 for this guy. He lives in Hartlepool, and he last took charge of a game at St James's Park in April, and that was against Crystal Palace in a 1-0 win for the Mags. VAR, which has become quite a friendly tool for Newcastle over the last few games, is Andre Mariner. Now, transport, if you're coming into Newcastle tonight, well, the Metro, don't forget there is a complete shutdown of the Metro route between South Shields and Pilo. This continues for a while, I believe. The X900 and the 900 replacement buses are going to operate, so you will still be able to get in. It's just going to take a little bit longer. And road closures, well, there's temporary road closures at this moment around the ground still, as we all know, around Barrack Road area, and that's 30 minutes before kickoff. So if you're a newbie and you're coming up to the ground, try not to get there at that time because you just not get moved at all. Big shout out to Steve Hasty and all the volunteers, Bill Corcoran and the guys and girls up at the food bank. Their usual stall will be on Strawberry Place opposite Alan Shearer's bar. And just a reminder, I guess, as well, which NUFC.com often put on, that Jamie Rubin continues his pledge to double all cash donations made on match days. So if you're taking food up, it's always gratefully received. But if you're taking a tenner up, Jamie Rubin makes that 20. So please, if you can, make sure you dip something into the buckets. I know things are getting incredibly difficult for people, but there are people who are worse off, believe you me. And as always, talk-ins are ongoing. Supermac is doing a double bubble tonight because Lee Clark, who was originally booked in to do Pumphrey's, got a late call to say Bobby Clark has been picked up for the first team tonight. So he was on his way down to watch Bobby play. You can understand father wanting to watch his son, but he will be at Pumphrey's in the near future. So Supermac is doing Pumphrey's tonight at 5:45. So you've got about half an hour to get across if you want to see that. If not, he will be at the Dog and Parrot opposite the Centre for Life at around 6:15 in an hour's time. Or you can catch him after the game at 10:30 and hear what he's got to say post-match. Okay, we'll take a few comments from you guys. If anybody's got any predictions, let me know what you feel tonight's game is going to be like. For me, I will be disappointed if Newcastle don't win this game. I really, really will. I genuinely believe that Newcastle United have got more than enough to beat Everton. They're coming off the back of 2 defeats, and you would think that Newcastle coming off the back of such a good run of form, the 4-1 win, of course, at Fulham, the 5-1 win against Brentford, and a 0-0 at Old Trafford, where normally we'd go down there and come away with nothing. In a game we were even Stevens in, we genuinely could have won. For me, I'd be disappointed if we don't get 3 points tonight. I really will be. So Newcastle, for me, will get a win. I'm going to go 2-0. I think Newcastle are capable of keeping a clean sheet again. We have, after all, got the best defence in the Premier League, and genuinely feel that Newcastle United have got a great chance of getting another 3 points tonight, which sets us up nicely for a trip to Spurs. And I have said on the show before that I felt that, Spurs isn't a happy hunting ground, but I stand corrected. Newcastle have actually got some good results down there. And, I think it's because with the takeover, you're in this tendency of just blocking off what actually happened under the whole Ashley era. But Joe Linton getting winners down at White Hart Lane and the new stadium and stuff, you're just thinking, wow, is this, we could actually go down there and get something. So, look, set it up. Let's set it up nicely. Let's cement our place in the top 6 and let's get a win tonight. Concentrate on tonight. Try not to get anybody injured. And let's go down to Spurs and give it a go like we did at Manchester United. Build on strong foundations at the back. That's what we want to do. When I set the original thing off tonight as well, somebody had put something in the chat about somebody passing away. Could you repeat that in here? Because I'm not sure who it is, but I would like to give the person a shout out if I can. Okay, I'm going to come to your comments. Mr. Anderson, I've caught up now. Here we are. If Everton sit back like they did against Spurs, Bruno will hopefully benefit from that, I hope. Yeah, Bruno, he's the key to unlock any defence, isn't he, really? And I think there's been a lot of plaudits heaped on him in the last, few days, on his performances from some of the biggest pundits in football at the moment. Some people who were probably, couldn't give a monkeys about their opinion, but, ultimately they've turned round and heaped praise on Bruno, and rightfully so. The guy is playing well. And he's the first to admit it's because of the team around him. He's been given this opportunity to push on. And it seems to me that no matter who plays alongside him, he's getting that opportunity to push forward, which of course he wasn't bought for. And Newcastle are utilising that to their strength. And it's great. But yeah, I think Everton will come with a game plan. They will come to stifle Newcastle. They will come to sit back. And I think ultimately Newcastle will push on and they will do the business tonight. I really, really do. Rob, good evening. He says, hi, Steve. Great result for the Heat last night. Hope all good your end. Rob, all good, mate. And the Heat are doing well. They had a rough start, but you know what? Things are turning round. And I think that's the positive thing. The club's built on good foundations. Couple of good teams in Gateshead, as you know, Rob. Gateshead and Dunstan. And look at Dunstan the other night. Went to Stockton, who were league leaders, hadn't been beaten, beat them 2-1 on their own patch. Dunstan in third place in that league as well. So it's all good for the lower league clubs at the moment. Sunderland struggling after a pretty good start. Lost last night. I didn't watch the game. I picked it up from a couple of Mackhams at the gym, though, who were saying that they'd been robbed. VAR, had it been in that division, would have chalked one of the goals off for offside. They should have had a penalty. Yeah, look, Sunderland don't want to come up with a minute. Not with the fact that, they've got no money and they've got no, they haven't got a striker, have they, at the moment? They're literally getting along by the skin of their teeth. I'd like the derbies to come back, Rob. I've got to be perfectly honest. But Hartlepool struggling as well. What are Darlington doing? Anybody know? I don't even know what league Darlington are in these days. But yeah, it's great news for the Heat. Doing really well. Tom, heard today on the radio that there's not many Everton fans going tonight. Not surprised really, Tom. It's getting harder. And I genuinely think that, the Premier League are making it harder for away fans. They don't want away fans to go. Clubs see it as an inconvenience because they've got to pay for police. They've got to pay for stewards. And if you take away fans from it, they probably knock the stewards down and, you won't have any need for police at the ground. So they don't want people travelling to games. And they're making it as difficult as possible. What they're doing is ultimately arranging games at stupid times for TV and then changing them at the last minute or changing the kick-off time so that an away fan will come to the game but then can't get back that night. And if they're going by train, they've got to go back the next day. So that means a hotel. And it just makes it so difficult, Tom. It makes it so difficult. So I'm not surprised to hear that there's not many Everton fans going. Another away game is going to be affected for Newcastle fans. Southampton away. Another rail strike. RMT going on strike again. Network Rail. So at the moment, people are at loggerheads as to what to do. I will get rid of my ticket because I don't want to go on the bus. I don't want to go in a car. It's a long way to Southampton. For me, I'd get the train down to London and I'd probably get a train across if I could get back. But it's just becoming a nightmare. Absolute nightmare as an away fan. Trolls. Just read Pulisic has given the green light to come to us. But have we heard this before? Yes, so not believing it yet. All of this transfer talk, Trolls, is going to start, and it already has. We're still being linked with players like Diaby. I think I mentioned this on the show the other week. One of my mates has watched Diaby, loves watching the foreign football. He was watching it and he said, we've swerved a bullet there. He said, honestly, not worth bringing him. I don't know. I don't watch that kind of... I don't watch the continental football. And sometimes it's not even worth watching players that you link with in Italy, Spain, Germany, because sometimes the level of football isn't as good as the Premier League. In fact, it's called the Premier League for a reason. Newcastle United play in the Premier League, and some of these players just might not fit in. It's a big push. Pulisic, though, yeah, I would like him, Trolls. I think it's a good signing if we could get him, but don't believe everything you read in the papers, and there's going to be a lot of that, I think. Stephen, good evening. Amazing how well Del Boy, Everton's financial expert, has done with their books. Oh, dear me out, Stephen. Didn't get us started on that. It's just crazy, mate. Financial fair play exists everywhere apart from Goodison Park. Ari, hi, said Joe Linton would score a header versus Manchester United. You were very unlucky. Very, very unlucky. So close, mate. So close. Mr. Anderson, it is a bit nippy. Yeah, I've got 2 layers on, plus me coat and me woolly hat tonight. So yes, it is a bit nippy. El Stapleton, I think we should focus on European talent. Premier League clubs not showing respect in dealings. Yeah, I mean, we've touched on that on the Amigos, haven't we? And on the professionals. It's one of them which you look at it and you think, are the top 6 going to deal with Newcastle? We got messed around over Lingard. We seem to have tried to butter Manchester United up with the whole Dubravka thing. I guess it's just a case of time will tell and wait and see. It seems to be the powers that be that are trying to scupper things for Newcastle at the moment by trying to do this and do that. They still seem to be trying to do the Super League behind the scenes. Little changes here. I heard something today about the Charity Shield being played abroad. It's bonkers, man. Absolutely bonkers. White Knight. How about some of the millionaire footballers give them back to the poor? That's obviously going on with the food bank, I guess. The stuff that I did earlier on, the shout out for the food bank. White Knight. It would be a lovely gesture, wouldn't it? If Premier League players did do something like that, but it's not going to happen. But what we do have is Jamie Rubin doubling up anything that's donated. So I guess that's better than nothing. But I guess from a Premier League footballer's point of view, it takes one person to come and do it. Marcus Rashford at Manchester United is one person who has come out and tried his best to do stuff. You're always a little bit suspicious when a player comes out and does it, though, because you think, are they doing it for PR? They're doing it for, oh, look at me, look how good I am, and, trying to get a bit of support. But Rashford has actually made a difference. And ultimately, if it was a Newcastle player who went out and did that, I'm sure that would happen. ASM has been down to the food bank. There's other players who've been down to the food bank, making donations, doing this, doing that, doing the other. But it's not consistent. It's not something that they do on a regular basis. The foundation is set up to help the community, so maybe that's something, they do things within the community. But White Knight, it's a great suggestion. Even if they give, a small, like a 50 quid donation, everybody in the team from their wages each week to the local food bank, it would make a difference. But God, try and facilitate that, mate. Good luck to Bobby Clark, but not Liverpool, says Geordie Timberlake. Yeah, Bobby, honestly, what a player he is. And he's a lovely lad. I'm privileged to say that I've known Bobby since he was a kid. Very good friends with Lee, have been for a long time. Over 25 years now, I've known Clarky. And you know what? It's just great to see his lad doing well. And if he's, his dad, as you'll have heard him on the pre-match patter at the weekend, says that he's better than him. And who am I to argue with Nash? Evening, Stephen, everyone in the chat. 2-1 to the Toon, says Ian. Get yourself a Toon trader in the shop, the sports trader, the shop in Toon. It's fantastic. Get yourself in the sports trader as well. It's wonderful. That just jigged me memory on the shop. Big up to Big Billy. Hope you're doing well, son. Thanks for joining us as always. Evening all, and how are you, the lads? We will smash T-Rex arms, says Stu, referring to Pickford, of course. Little Pickford's arms. That's always interesting, isn't it? We always look at it and think, yeah, Pickford's in goal. Let's give him some stick. And he always responds and usually drops a clanger. 3-0 to the Toon, says Vince. I look forward to seeing you tonight, Vince. You're taking me brother's ticket. So looking forward to seeing you very soon, mate. And Andrew says, Everton probably just defend plenty behind the ball, so I'm not expecting the usual 7-0. 1-0 or 2-0, I'll say. A few of the lads on the NUFC Matters chat tonight have said 3-1. Doing a penman, they reckon Newcastle will be doing a penman because they reckon Everton will score. But yeah, hey, 3-1 could be worth a bet. And I think the hope that there was going to be a goal from Wilson potentially in that. So 3-1 Wilson, that could be me bet. I don't think we're going to get to the bookies. So, and when I have a bet in my head and I don't go to the bookies, it always comes in. When I've got a bet in my head and I get to the bookies, I always lose me money. I was the man who bet on Kevin Dillon to be first goal scorer for Newcastle United. I hasten to remind you. And I put £1 on every game, and he never scored a goal for Newcastle, of course. Went to Reading, and in his debut, what did he do? Scored on his debut, exactly. Rest in peace, George Forbes. Thank you, Geordie Toon for life. George Forbes, former chairman of these parts, just before the takeover went through, the first takeover, not the second takeover, the Magpie Group helped facilitate. Yes, George Forbes was the much maligned chairman who basically, didn't really stand much of a chance. But lovely guy, one of the directors, quite a quiet man. Rest in peace, George Forbes. I'm sure there'll be some kind of silence for him either today or the next home game. Match referee for Sunday's game at Spurs is Jared Gillette, and VAR is Stuart Atwell. Tom, have you got a text message from the FA Premier League on that? You're getting this very quickly. If we've learned to be patient, we can get 3 points, even if the opposition plant a brick wall at the back. Stephen, the problem is against Bournemouth, for instance, and Crystal Palace, they came with a game plan. We didn't have a plan to get round it. We've got to learn to do that. Did we do that against Brentford? No, because Brentford came and had a go. If Everton come and have a go tonight, it should be an interesting game. If they come and park the bus, Newcastle have got to find a way to break it down. And not having Bruno and Wilson would be a blow, but we've got both of them tonight. So we're looking at this game through different eyes, and we've got chances, to bring people on who can change a game. Ryan Fraser can come on and change a game. Murphy, if he's on the bench, you've got Miggy. We've got players who can change this. Isaac and ASM being out's a blow, but at least we've got a squad and a team tonight. And I really fancy Newcastle to win. I fancy a 40-yard blammer tonight. Andrew, what if the ref says knee blammers? Little Arms will have a sore back with picking the ball out of the net, says Stu. I bloody hope so, mate. RE, says, need to get at Seamus Coleman. He's the weak link, and I'd love to see Anderson start. You see, it's funny because we're talking about Anderson for weeks on end in the show, and then the last couple of games I've not really mentioned Anderson. He hasn't really featured a great deal. But yeah, I agree, mate. I agree 100%. 3-0, Toon win, and I've got another fiver on it. Great stuff, Steve. Love the channel. Time and Tide, thank you very much, mate. Much appreciated. Please give it a share on your social media. And I know some of you watch this on your phone. I know some of you are on tech savvy. But even if you're on tech savvy, you can see that little thumb on your phone underneath the video, underneath the picture of me now. Just click that little thumb. That helps me massively. If you can do that, that's great. Subscribe, fantastic. And if you can share it. It shares to Twitter, your Facebook link, whatever you've got on your phone, you can share it, and you can come straight back into the program while you're watching it. Doesn't disturb your viewing, but just share. Help us out. And if you can do financially, join in the channel. And you can join for a month, you can join for 2 months, 3 months. It makes a financial donation, and it helps us pay the costs for running StreamYard, for instance, which costs us a few quid. Helps us keep the equipment up to date, etc. And also pays for the nights out, because I do take the lads and lasses, if we have lasses on, when they're up, I pay for a night out. I'll take them out for the scran. So if you can make a donation, you can click the little dollar button down below. If you want to join the channel and help us each month, like we've got 80 members, I think, which is fantastic. Great. And like I say in the adverts as well, if you want to join the cult, which is a one-off payment of 25 quid, you can do that, and then you enter into the monthly draw. It's a one-off payment of 25 quid. But that's it. That's enough begging for today. I don't often do that, but yeah, thank you for saying you love the channel. If not a start, hope Anderson gets significant minutes, says El Staple. Yeah, I think a lot of people do. Strangely, Pawson was Sunderland's ref last night. Has he been relegated, I guess. Who would have thought bottom West Brom go to 6th place Reading and win 2-0? Well, you know. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? The Steve Bruce getting sacked effect. That's what that's called, Stephen. As soon as he goes, results change for the better. Enough said. National League North and 2nd, Darlington. Paul, thank you, mate, for that. Yeah, because they were one of those teams that got relegated, weren't they? And I think Gateshead ended up relegated as well in a similar fashion. Good luck to Dunstan tonight in North Shields. And good luck to North Shields against Dunstan, Tom. I can't be unfair to that. It's two teams going hammer and tongs. North Shields have got a big support amongst Newcastle fans. That'll be a hell of a game. That will be a hell of a game, believe you me. Always a good one to go to as well, whether it's home or away. It's a bit feisty, shall we say, for a local derby. Morris Kennedy, hope we get 3 points tonight. Really need it. Doug says, remember when we were called delusional? Man U fans can truthfully be called that now. Doug, I'm not sure if you're on Twitter, but by God, they were in the huff after that game, weren't they? They all went hammer and tongs. And we had Melly, my mate, Melly, on Monday night's show. And fair play, he came on after the game. He gave Man United fans' view. If you haven't watched it, the Monday Club, give it a watch. It's only an hour long. Melly comes on the last 20 minutes. And him and James, I thought they were quite friendly afterwards. But yeah, the banter on Twitter was terrible, Doug. Honestly, the Man United fans are just very bitter. Very bitter. Do we expect some changes for tonight's game? Good question, Tom. I'm going to give in predicting Eddie Howe, because you can't. You don't know what on earth he's going to do. I thought he would have changed at home against Brentford. He went unchanged. And he probably would have gone unchanged at Old Trafford as well, Tom, had he not had the illness in the squad. Will he go unchanged? Why not? Why not? It's a successful team. It kept a clean sheet at Old Trafford. The only thing that will change is if somebody hasn't performed in training or if someone takes ill. It's as simple as that. I don't expect anything more than one change. It could be in midfield, but I don't think it'll be at the back. But it just depends on how people have trained and what's happened. Come on, Everton, says Alter Ego. Listen, Alter Ego, it's a good game, this. It always is. It's under the lights at St James's Park. It's a dark night. And Eddie Howe says he loves the match day experience at night times at St James's Park because the Toon fans are more aggressive. Listen, going to be a good game. Let's see what happens. Target for left back and Willett midfield. Roger, yeah, I mean, Willett could come back in for Joe Linton. It just depends what Eddie Howe's thinking. Target for left back for Dan Burn, possibly. Sick note for Pickford. He got one last time and he didn't turn up, did he? Big up, Steve. Chat. Line up out yet? It will be out at 6:30, mate. So we've got an hour to go for that. And I see Roger Cook already answered the question. Thomas says, I fancy a 3-1 win tonight, Tom. Yeah, a penman, doing a penman potentially. What was the reason that Bobby went to Liverpool? Because he couldn't get a goal. He couldn't get a game at Newcastle, mate, and he had a big decision to make. And he waited and he waited and he waited for he waited and waited and waited for the takeover to go through, and it didn't. And he got a great offer from Liverpool, and off he went. And to be fair, he's gone to a great club, with a good, with a good manager, a good facilities, and he's doing really well down there. Who's to say he won't come back? We might have to pay big to get him back, but you know what? He will be at Newcastle one day. I'm sure of that. Going to the Blue Oyster Cult gig at the City Hall. God, are they still going, Davey? So miss the match, but come on, the lads, 3-1. Don't Fear the Reaper. I think that was one of my favourite songs the Blue Oyster Cult did. It can't be the original lineup, Davey. Surely to God. I may be class. Come on the tune, Vince. Yeah, see you soon, pal. Your footy betting sounds like mine, Andrew. Honestly, abysmal, mate. Absolutely abysmal. I'm not really a betting man. I won on the national once. I think I won 120 quid on the national, and that's only because one of my mates said, "I'll put my mortgage on this horse winning it. Can you put some money on and put some money on for yourself?" And so it wasn't even me who made did pick the horse. You know what I mean? But no, it's absolute waste of time. Botman to score with a header tonight, says Geordie Timberlife. Roger Cook says Hooper shooting first from the Gallagher to wind the feck out the Tyrannosaurus Mackem. Yeah, it's always funny, isn't it, doing that whole kicking towards the Gallagher first. And under Keegan and the Entertainers, I think the odds, that we won more games by doing that, so that would be good. Can't remember the last time there was such a buzz around a Wednesday night game. In typical NUFC fashion, we'll probably get tongued. Dan Byrne Cooper. Do you not think that atmosphere is around every home game at the minute though? Starting at the Spurs game when the takeover went through, there was people at the ground 2-3 hours beforehand, man. It's just absolutely mental, and people are bouncing up to the ground. I sound like I've had about 10 cups of coffee talking about the game tonight, but I'm excited because match day gets you excited again. And that's what it's supposed to be like. You're just supposed to have a bit of hope going up there, thinking, you know what, if we win tonight, we're going to cement our place in top 6 and this, that, and the other. It's just great being a Toon fan at the minute, lads and lasses. Need to win tonight with Crystal Palace winning last night. Yeah, Tom. It's just glad we're not having a win to keep out the bottom 3. We're very confident and rightly so. And isn't it brilliant? It is, Mr. Anderson. Let's see what else we've got here. Battle of the keepers. Nick Pope and Jordan Pickford tonight. Yeah, I don't think the winner tonight will be the England number 1. I think Pickford has rightly earned that crown. I think Pope will go as number 2. I think he'll go as his backup. And if Pickford picks a knock up at some point, I think Pope will be first choice. But Pickford's a great shot stopper, and despite his heritage, despite where he's from, despite where he played for, I've met him a couple of times. He's a canny kid, and he takes the stick well, and he loves it. And you need characters in football like him. The squad gets announced at 6:30. Ian, is Alan Armstrong still Bottadolo? I've got no idea, mate. He's a good lad, Alan. He's got his soccer school. I've been to that a couple of times back in the day when I used to work on TV and do. I did an interview down there with him. Explain to me why Lampard thinks Everton are similar to Newcastle. Oh, because he's from London, mate. He doesn't understand the difference between the places. Klopp, the salt mine. No, he's into ceilings now, trolls. Roger, I didn't see it. Thanks, mate. That's some conversation. Would you play Wilson tonight? Would you rest him for Spurs? I'd play him tonight, Tom. You've got to play your best players when they're fit, mate. Got to play them 100%. JH, executive travel. I got your photos, JH. I'm going to feature them on the Amigos till Friday. Don't forget the Amigos is 6 till 8 this week, so it's later. Couple of reasons why, but yeah, 6 till 8 on Friday. I'm also going to be filming in October, so you might be seeing all of these programs coming up on the channel. Premiere. Now those will change, dates, times, etc. But it's because I'm filming for 3 weeks in November. There'll be a lot of live shows, but I'm doing my best to make sure that you've still got a show every night. I'm doing a lot of dream teams. I'm doing a lot of shows which you like. Obviously, those were the days with George. I've done a few of those. I've done dream teams with Warren Barton, with Steve Howie, with Ben Jacobs. I've also done a wonderful interview with Paul Ferris, who used to be the Newcastle United physio. Played for Newcastle, of course, but his career was curtailed by injury, so that's coming up. I'm trying to cram 1 or 2 others in, so you'll still have shows every night. I try not to let you down. Lampard looked pretty fearful of us in his pre-match interview. No wonder he won't be looking forward to coming up here, will he? Not at all. Not sure what you're laughing at, Truls, because we're going through all of these things quite quickly. Yeah, he's the manager of Darlington. Right, yeah, he's a top lad, Paul. Top lad. So, looking forward to tonight's game. Proper excited, says Buller Boy. And that's what it's all about, Buller Boy. Honestly, we've never had this for donkey's years. It's been absolutely mental. Can you hear that? That's how much ice cream going at that speed. Anyway, yes, that's what it should be like as a Newcastle fan. To be excited, to be able to walk up to St James's Park and to be buzzing and to be looking forward to the game. And that's all we've ever asked for. That's all we've ever asked for. Brian Scott says, I've been sub for a while now and you've never once let us down. Big up again, Steve. Brian, thank you very much, mate. Much appreciated. If you can get other people to join, that's all I'm asking, really. It would be lovely to hit 50k this year. I don't think we're going to do it. We're at 49,130 subs. But if you take the time, even when the show finishes, just to click on the link, to share it to a Facebook group that you're on or whatever, guaranteed you'll get a few people saying, I'm not subbing to that because it's Steve Wraith. But you know, you will help us. You will get people to join, and you know, happy days. And we've got a great community, and it's a big up to the moderators. You know, I've got some fantastic mods on this channel. They've all been brilliant. Have you ever tried with Darren Eales on the show? Said he'd do podcast. I've got to be honest, I haven't. For me personally, I haven't tried to get anybody other than Eddie Howe, and that was last season. I don't know. I'll ask. I can ask the question. Let's see. I don't like to repeat content that other people do as well. We have got Nick DeMarco lined up. I'm hoping to do that before I go away as well. The Sayers are all Newcastle fans and they are season ticket holders, mate. No, they don't have a box at Newcastle, but they go to the odd games. Not everyone, but yes, they do. When will the next match day live be? The next time I don't go to a game, mate. Basically, it's only when I'm not going to a game, but probably be one either November or December. You a Bovril man, Steve? At the match, I tend not to have a drink. I've got to be perfectly honest. I'll have a coffee beforehand. I don't drink before the game now or during the game, unless one of the lads comes and it's a birthday or something like that, because I like to watch the game. Back in the day, it was a nightmare. The mods are class. We are the mods. We are the mods. We are the mods. But I know, they are, mate. I've got a very special group of people, and I'm in a privileged position that I've met most of them and I've become friends with them. You know what I mean? I think the one I've known the longest is Tom Dixon, who's always in the chat. And me and Tom go back a long way just through local football. But getting a chance to meet everybody else has been fantastic. And always got to give a big shout out, although I know he'll not be watching now because he'll be away. You've got, what you call him, John, Justice Allen. He's been a massive, massive help. And from my perspective, it's great to see, the work that John's done for the food bank, and he needs a massive, massive round of applause for that. Red, I've put you in timeout, mate. This is a football show. I'm not talking about any of that kind of stuff. I've answered your questions, so I'll put you in timeout, I'm afraid. Agree, Tom Dixon, watch-alongs are great. They are, and I mean, look, it's weird. It's a weird concept. I never really thought, ultimately, that people would watch us talk about football, but we found during lockdown that it helped people through the games. People enjoyed listening to us rather than listening to biased commentary from some of the TV commentators. So from my perspective, I was just blown away by the ridiculous numbers we were getting on those. I had to stop it because I started going back to the game, but then other people have come in and done them. I've seen Tune Review doing it. I've seen other people doing it. And they get numbers. They've got people who go and get to the games and they do it. I haven't got anybody who can fill in and do that for me. But I just thought, you know what, I'll bring it back for games that I can't do. So it'll be intermittent, but I will do it 100% when we get the opportunity. Bruce out of the door. Yes, Bruce out. I do miss them days, Stu. Just purely for you saying that. Please hit the like button and subscribe to the podcast, everyone. There's Tom again. Thank you, sir. Why don't you get Steve Bruce on so you can explain why he's the right and we are wrong? Stephen, dear me, how? I just couldn't. I couldn't keep me cool. I don't think. I interview controversial characters. That would be the most controversial character of all. And I try not to take sides when I'm interviewing, but it would be very difficult. I'd be completely biased. There we go. It is class. We'll be up to doing more watch-alongs. Vince, you've been great on the podcasts as well. It's been fantastic. I don't want to say thank you to all the mods. I'll say it collectively because guaranteed, you know what happens when you do stuff like that. You thank somebody and then you forget somebody and then somebody goes in the huff. So I just thank all the mods collectively because they're all doing a fantastic job. Last 5 minutes then. Michael Carrick set to become Middlesbrough manager. Yeah, I saw that. Now that's great, isn't it, for Middlesbrough? I've got to be honest. I like Steve Gibson down the road. I know his daughter very well, and I like him. He's a big lad. And he's a Borough fan, and he's put his money where his mouth is. If anybody deserves a bit of success, it's him. They've won a trophy. The last North East team to actually win a trophy, aren't they? Or get to a European final, I think. But look, yeah, Michael Carrick going to Borough. It's a good fit. By all accounts, Wilder wasn't very popular down there. So, yeah, good luck to Borough. Got nothing against Borough. I've always said Borough and Sunderland, out against the lads down there. Just as long as they're behind us, that's all that matters. Caught some of the Blackburn-Sunderland match last night, which fans were singing "We're the Geordies, the Geordie Boot Boys." Surely Blackburn winding them up and not the Mackham singing it. Oh my God, Johnny. I have heard Sunderland fans singing, but I've heard them sing is it the Roker Boot Boys? I can't. They've nicked a couple of our songs. The Roker Races instead of the Bladen Races. I've heard them nick a few of our songs. 100%, Johnny. Mark Byers says NUFC Matters, the best and most likeable podcast. Thanks to you and everyone involved for what you do. Helps a homesick fan stay connected to the tune. Thank you very much. Oh, Morris, feel the same in Florida now. Morris, I think I seen your comment the other day, and I think I only seen one comment, but thank you, mate. We've got a few American people who are expats or people from America tuning in. We've got Jimmy Moore, who's an American guy. We've got a few people who just tune in, so it's great. And obviously, Mark's abroad. He's in America now. He's from my neck of the woods in Gateshead, but he's across in America. So there's quite a few over there, and it's great to have you all on. It's an international community, really. NUFC Matters, and it's great when people get the opportunity to even fly over for a game like Mark did recently with his family, just to hook up with people and put a name to the face and see people. It's absolutely fantastic. So thanks for tuning in. It's Super Mac and Gibbo on tomorrow night. Tom, we are on tomorrow, but it's early. It is going to be 1:30 in the afternoon. So 1:30 in the afternoon, Super Mac and Gibbo and myself will be looking back on the game and looking ahead to the game of the weekend. American Geordies, I love it. You have to visit, lads and lasses. Yep, 100%. Stu, the Roker Boot Boys. The Joker Boot Boys, more like, says Stu. I would agree, sir. I would agree. Okay, listen, I've got to go because I've got to head to the talk-in and then go to the match. But good luck to everybody tonight getting over there, and I hope you enjoy it. Those who are going, those who are watching at home, make sure you're still shouting and bawling at the screen. I'll be back tomorrow 1:30 with Super Mac and Gibbo. I hope you've enjoyed the pre-match patter. Take care, people.